I'm beach camping on Mustang Island, which is just outside of Corpus Christi, Texas. It's been really great, but then my friend and I made a huge rookie mistake. I love beach camping. You can pull your RV right out onto the sand and camp next to the waves and just enjoy the scenery and the sound of the ocean. And on this trip, I was camping with a bunch of really great people, and so we just got to chill out together and do some people watching. And I'll tell you, the boy really loved it too. He watched birds all day long, and he could not have been happier. The weather was really great most of the time that we were there, so we enjoyed some amazing sunsets, had fires on the beach at night, and just listened to some music. But then it started to change a little bit. We had some really windy days where the surf just got crazy and we were all stuck inside, and then went outside to see what happened to all of our stuff in the big windstorm. Now, I've only ever camped on the ocean one time before, and that's when I went to Pismo Beach. And I knew from that trip that we should expect a lot of sand all over our stuff if there was any kind of wind. But every other day it was just great, and the tide came in and the tide went out at the exact same levels. You can see this shot here from my door. That's my sun tea sitting there, and that was high tide every single day. So I had all that room between my door and the ocean. And you can see here this big row of RVers. That's me and my group with some other people behind us. And if you look down the beach, you can see that the RVs go in one place, and then they always leave room for cars to go down in front of the RVs and then also behind the RVs. And every day that we camped for a week, high tide just came up to here. So I was not expecting at all what came next. Oh, well, that's not good. Yeah, I went to go check on the boy, and I saw that the water was way higher than it had ever been before. So I went outside to look at Peggy's rig, and you can see the water was almost up to her. And here, probably not the smartest move, I decided to sit outside in my chair and just make sure our stuff was okay. And that's when a big surge came up and completely surrounded me and my RV. Now, you might be wondering at this point why we just didn't get in our cars and drive away. Well, see what the sand is doing up here? That's what it was like when we got inside of our rigs and this water was going back and forth. We could feel the sand moving out from underneath us, and we were sure that if we tried to drive, we were going to get stuck. So I just kept an eye on my friend's rig, and she kept an eye on my rig, and we did what we should have done in the very first place, and that was to consult a tide table. Now you can see here that when I took this shot, we were still 4 inches away from hitting high tide, and darkness was coming. But this high tide was so much higher than anything we had had before. I mean, honestly, I'm from Colorado. My friends are also from landlocked states. And we thought that we knew what high tide and low tide were. We did not understand that the tide could come in many, many feet higher than what we had experienced in the prior week. I know. Lots of water out there. Luckily, the high tide was at 5:20 at night. So the worst part of it we could see just before the sun went down. Otherwise, honestly, it would have been really scary in here with no lights on the beach, wondering if the tide was coming up. But it's been fine. Now we're getting ready to go. And my biggest concern is the weight of our rigs in this wet sand. I mean, when we just walked around out there, our feet were sinking like 3-4 inches into the sand. And with the weight of our rigs and this wet sand, I'm a little bit worried we're gonna have trouble getting out of here. So let's go take a look. By the way, no matter what you do, you're gonna have sand absolutely everywhere. By the way, these shoes were just destroyed because a surge came in while I was wearing them, and they are not drying out. Okay, let's see what it looks like outside. Hey! My step stool is still here. That's a good sign. It kept running away. Okay, you can see the tide actually came up to here while we were sitting in our RVs. My friend actually already pulled up a little bit and she was able to get out just fine. But boy, this is some squishy sand. And you can see all the swirls that went around us. And this is where I pulled my chair out. It was stuck in there. My rug blew under my rig in the middle of the night, so I had to come out and fix that. Here are my tires. I mean, the ground is just, you know, really, really soft. So I went first with my four-wheel drive, and you can see me here looking at my side mirror, my rear view mirror with Peggy behind me because I was kicking up mud and swerving and getting stuck. And I was talking to her on the phone, making sure she was okay. And then you can see the relief on my face when I make it. And then I see that she made it. I tell you, I will camp on the beach again because I love it, but I will never ever do it again without consulting a tide table. See you next time, bird watchers. Until then, everybody out there have happy travels and be free.